Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this part of the world. This is Radio W.O.R.K.S. Jossine Abrahams, your host for Springs of Life, broadcasting from United Kingdom, London. Today is a good day. It's been a beautiful day so far. I've had a good day today, and I've had a lot of time to think of what I'm going to discuss with you today. Today is about forgiveness. Why do we need to forgive? And when do we need to forgive? When do you think is the right time to forgive? And what would have happened to you to think of forgiveness? Right, I've got this story of mine which was in my book. I've said it several times to every one of you, what happens in life if you don't forgive. I had a relationship which everybody knows that it wasn't that perfect. I had problems with the husband number three who was married to me. He had a lot of uh, domestic violence and sexual diseases coming into the house. So at the end, we decided to divorce. And that's what happened when we divorced. We were separate. And as I go on doing my own thing, a friend of mine just told me from work that she had seen him lying in the hospital where it is an infectious hospital. So I was worried for myself. I had to go there and make sure that I've seen it. Is it true what I've heard? So that I get myself checked out whether I was okay or not. So I went to the hospital. I found him lying in the hospital and he was really ill, gravely ill, as I said before. So when I noticed that this is what is going on, I didn't do anything, but I was worried for my health. I thought, okay, I'm the next one going. So what do I do when I see things like this? I was tearful, of course, because it was hurting. I didn't know what to do. I cried on my way back, but when I looked at him, I said to him, listen, this is what you created for yourself. It wasn't me who did this. So I just felt sorry for him. I just didn't do anything. I felt powerless when I looked at him because it was heaps of bones. So I knew definitely he was not going to last long. Okay, what do I do with that situation when I see this is the situation? I just said goodbye to him when left him at the hospital. Then I went home. On my way home, I was contemplating what to do to kill myself. Do I kill myself? No. What do I do about this situation I've seen? I noticed that, you know what? There's nothing I can do anymore. He's ill. I might be ill myself. I don't know what he has given to me or what has happened to me. So my next bet was to go to the doctors and get checked myself to see if I was all right. The next thing I hear, he was dead. So I went to the funeral. I went to his funeral to meet up with his relatives to see if they had any explanation of all this. But there wasn't any explanation. So I knew I had to forgive him because he was already gone. And when I went to the doctors myself, I was told, okay, you are not that ill. So I realized, okay, God have seen me through this. I need to understand why he was doing this to me. So, right, I got to the point where I sat down and said to myself, well, I've noticed I've learned to live with this for a long while. So why should I carry on, with this problem, having this problem in my mind that this person has hurt me, but still he has hurt me, he's no more. So why should I keep on, hating this person? He's gone. He has done what he has done to me and he has destroyed my life somehow. But I need to move on as a human being. I need to start a new life. I need to turn into a new leaf. I need to seek divine protection for myself. So I needed to know God. That was the first thing. I was faithful. I left everything to God to decide whether this was the life I was going to lead, whether I should forgive him or not. But then I knew if I don't forgive him, I will still cause myself a lot of problems, health issues, which of course it went on for a while, because it doesn't just come quickly like that to forgive and forget. I was in a situation where I was really worried for my life, and I was thinking, constantly thinking about what to do. What shall I do? What if I die? What if I leave my daughter alone? Now what's going to happen to us? What is going to happen? I constantly live in fear, and which I knew it wasn't going to be good for myself health wise. Fear is something which is not really good. It comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So I didn't want to be killed with, with the conscience, with the concept of me thinking I'm really ill. I don't know what to do. So I decided to seek God in all this. Then I went into prayers, I went into fasting, trying to take care of myself, trying to leave everything to God and let God decide for my life. Then I sat down and said, okay, enough is enough. I've gone for almost 20, 25 years, 30 years. I'm still hurting inwardly about this. Of course, I've told you in my previous shows that I had blood pressure because I didn't forgive. I was worried inside me. I was hurting inside me. It was constantly worrying me, thinking, okay, this has happened to me. I've had 3 marriages. One, it wasn't successful. The husband died. Husband number 2, we divorced because of problems. Now, number 3, then we separated because he was promiscuous. He was having so many women in his life. He was doing so many things to destroy my life. So I've had to carry this for over 30 years. Then I realized, oh, no, 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 enough is enough. I need to change my life. I need to look after myself. I need to take care of myself. So the only way to do that is to release that hurt within me, to forgive what has happened within me, because without that I was going to put myself into a near grave before my time. So this happened sometime when I visited New York. I went to New York City, then I went to one of the churches. Oh, funny enough, I was still hurting, but I didn't want to admit to anybody. I never talked to anyone about how I was feeling. But then, well, one of these prophetess in churches, she just came to me and started saying, you have to release your anger, release your anger, release your anger. She kept on saying that around me. And she didn't leave me, she kept on for almost 10, 15 minutes around me. And the whole church is full of people. But why is she staying around me? I began to worry now. But knowing exactly what I was going through, knowing exactly what was going through about what was happening with my life, I knew what she meant. Then she immediately touched my shoulder. Then I fell down. Then all of a sudden she tells people not to pull me from the floor. Then she tells me that you have to say, speak, speak, speak. She kept on saying, speak, speak, speak. Then, okay, I said, okay, I'm hurting. And she says, why are you hurting? Then I explained what I went through. Then she says, you have to stop it now. And now is the time to stop. Now is the time to forget. Now is the time to forgive. Who are you to hold all these things for 30, 20 years in yourself? Then I realized, honestly, if somebody I don't know, somebody who has just come from nowhere, I don't know, these are the angels sent whilst we are on this earth, on this planet. Somebody just talk about my life. She doesn't know me. I don't live in New York. I live in England, and I'm in New York. There's somebody's prophesizing on me that something is not right about my health, about blood pressure, about my thoughts. Then I knew, honestly, God was speaking to me that time. Then I realized I needed to change myself. I needed to believe in God. I needed to trust in God and do the right thing. So what did I do? I forgave him. From that day, I learned that if you hold on to things, they will end up killing you. So I forgave him as I had been told, as I had been instructed. It's very difficult to forgive. It is a difficult thing to forgive, but thank God. I mean, the woman of God was there to guide me, was there to help me, was there to push me to do the thing which she knew it was right. So, not forgiving is very painful. Got to the extent where I was having some chest pains sometime, and I didn't understand what it was really, because I just thought it's just the normal chest pain. It happens to anyone else. But after a later date, I realized that this is not a normal chest pain. It's not normal. Something is not right. So I realized that I had to follow this woman, what she was telling me, because now that I've felt the pain, now that I've gone through it, now that I've suffered, I've carried this for 20, 30 years and suffering inwardly, not speaking. It wasn't going to be good for me. This is the wisdom I acknowledged now. I acknowledged that it is the knowledge I need to have, knowledge and understanding that I'm in pain, I'm hurting, I'm holding on to something which I need to forgive, which I need to forgive. So I decided, okay, enough is enough. This is how I forgive. I went on prayers, I went on fasting, then decided to forgive him. Gradually, it was coming up. I decided I'm not going to be doing that. It was not worth it. How do I grow to be a bigger person after all this? The truth is, it's myself I'm hurting. So I had to accept, I had to acknowledge that this is not good for me. It is not worth it. What do I do? What do I benefit from hurting myself? Do I speak about it? Do I tell people about how I'm feeling? Do I tell people what went wrong? Do I tell people how I'm hurting and why I was hurting? How did I start to hurt so much? It was just up to me to decide to forgive and forget about what happened. So I had to forgive myself first for all this hurting which was happening all these years. I first of all realized that I need to forgive myself before I forgive this person who did this thing to me, because he was normal and he wouldn't see anyway how much I'm hurting. Even though if he didn't die, if he was near me, maybe because of the situation, because of what I was going through with him, I wouldn't have realized that I'm hurting. I wouldn't have known what is hurting, because he wouldn't have cared anyway. So it was going to be my early grave anyway. So I decided, okay, I have stopped thinking, I have stopped hating myself. I need to free myself. To free myself is to admit that I am not hurting anymore. I forgive this person who has hurt me. Now it depends who has been hurt. I have been hurt. I was the one who was hurt. But who cares about me? It's me who has to care for myself first before anybody else buy my story, before anybody else listen to my story. I listen to myself first and know that this is not good for myself. So I decided to do the right thing, to do the right thing for myself and for my health and for my family and for my daughter as well. So turning the leaf round, accepting that I've been hurt, accepting that something wrong has been done to you, is what everybody else, all the people who have been hurt, the first thing is to do for themselves is to acknowledge that they have been hurt. But what do they do about it? How do they stop themselves from being hurting? How do they help themselves? Yes, we can confide in some other people to help us to release that anger. As for myself, I was lucky enough, the woman of God was able to help me to release the anger and become forgiving. So I urge all those people who are undergoing the same thing like me to release that anger, to help themselves to find out what is it that is hurting so much that they can't forgive, that they get to the extent of becoming ill without forgiving. Forgiveness is the release of all things within your heart If you forgive, you become free, you become health, you become a normal person again. So I did that myself. That's why I decided to talk about this topic today. That's why I decided to advise other people that it's no good to hold on to anger. It's no good to hold on to hating. It's no good to do self-induced illness to yourself. You need to forget, to forgive, and to know God, to trust in God, so that you are helping yourself, so that you are the normal person you are supposed to be. Be prayerful. Seek God all the time when you are hurting. Forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. It's not good to hold on to hatreds. It's not good to not to forget. I just want to share with you something I've been reading as well today in the Bible about sharing and forgiveness, which I thought it was very helpful to me. It was from Hebrews 10 verse 30. Hebrews 10 verse 30 reads, for we know him that hath said, vengeance belongs unto me, I will recompense, saith the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. That means the Lord is reminding us that we are nothing on this planet. We are not the people to do the revenge. We are not the people to hate other people, so that because she hates me, I now want to revenge. I now want to do the worst thing to her. I will now want to make sure that she suffers. It's not our portion. It's not in us as Christians, as people who are around in this planet. We live amongst other people. We need to do the right thing for this world to develop. We need to move on with the proper channels. We need to do the right thing. Who are we to judge other people? We cannot judge anyone. We need to understand that we are not here on this earth to do the judgment. We are here, yet we are people. We are human beings. We are bound to be hurt sometime, but we are bound to forgive and forget. Let God be the judge of whoever has hurt somebody. Let God deal with your enemy. Let God deal with all those circumstances which you are failing to deal with in your life. Don't be somebody who wants to revenge. Don't be somebody who wants to kill, not to do tit for tat. If he kills me, I'll kill him back. You might be killed first and you don't have time to revenge. So what it is whatever happens in life, don't ever revenge. Let God do the revenge for you. Good afternoon, good evening. This is your host, Jossine Abrahams, reporting from England. Thank you.